Have you ever wondered how a skinny man with just a cloak and a bamboo stick could shake the most powerful empire in the world? A man who commanded no army, who held no gun, yet had the power to make his enemy bow their head? Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Still Mind channel. Throughout human history, there have been individuals who, without wielding a gun or holding military power, changed an entire nation through the power of will and compassion. Mahatma Gandhi was precisely such a person. Born in 1869 in India under British colonial rule, the young Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi chose a completely different path of struggle. He did not choose violence, but Satyagraha, which means the power of truth, or what we often call nonviolent resistance. It was a silent weapon, yet more powerful and enduring than any bullet. With a magnanimous heart and an iron-willed spirit, he became Bapu, the spiritual father of the Indian nation, revered by the whole world with the title Mahatma, meaning great soul. Today, let's explore 10 of Gandhi's immortal quotes. These are not just words, but timeless philosophies of life that can illuminate and guide the journey of each of us, even in this 21st century. Quote number 1, the first, and perhaps most famous, of his quotes: "Be the change that you wish to see in the world." We often complain about litter, about indifference, about a negative society. We wait for someone else, a government, some leader, to come and fix everything. But Gandhi reminds us that the power to change lies in your own hands. You want a cleaner world? Be the first one not to litter. You want people to treat each other more kindly? Be the first to offer a smile and say thank you. Gandhi didn't just talk, he lived it. When he called on the Indian people to boycott British textiles, he didn't just shout empty slogans. Every day, he spent time at his own spinning wheel. He was the very embodiment of the self-sufficient economy he envisioned for his country. So, don't wait for the world. Start with a small action of your own. Today, quote number 2. Strength does not come from physical capacity. It comes from an indomitable will. Looking at Gandhi's small, frail body, no one would think he was a strong man. Yet, this very man made an entire empire tremble. His strength was not in his muscles, but in an invisible weapon, his will. It was the will he showed when he led the Salt March, nearly 400 kilometers long, to protest the unjust British salt tax. It was the will he showed when he undertook hunger strikes to the brink of death, forcing both the British authorities and conflicting factions of Indians to pause and reconsider. In our own lives, it's the same. True strength isn't the ability to lift a heavy weight, but the ability to get back up after a fall. The persistence to pursue a goal despite countless difficulties, and the courage to say no to what is wrong. The will is the muscle of the soul. Quote number 3. Gandhi's core philosophy is expressed in the third quote: "An eye for an eye only ends up making the whole world blind." This is a stark warning about the vortex of hatred. When we are hurt, our natural instinct is to retaliate. But Gandhi saw a deeper truth. Violence only begets violence. Revenge only leads to more revenge. And so the cycle never ends. And in the end, everyone is a victim. All are plunged into darkness. After the Amritsar massacre, where British troops slaughtered hundreds of innocent Indians, a wave of outrage and calls for revenge surged. But Gandhi steadfastly went against the crowd. He understood that if Indians also used guns to respond, they would become the very oppressors they were fighting against. His path was one of forgiveness, of fighting with truth to break the cycle of hatred. Quote number 4. If you are feeling lost and without direction, listen to the fourth quote. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. We often think that to find ourselves, we must travel alone, meditate on a high mountain, or focus on ourselves. Gandhi offered the opposite path. He believed that the true value and meaning of life are not found by looking inward, but by looking outward. When you help someone in need, when you listen to someone who is suffering, when you dedicate yourself to a cause greater than yourself, you receive so much more in return. You discover your own capabilities, your compassion, and your place in this world. It is precisely in the moment of forgetting ourselves that we find the best version of ourselves. Quote number 5. The fifth quote discusses a crucial aspect of freedom. Freedom is not worth having if it does not include the freedom to make mistakes. Freedom is not about always doing the right thing. Freedom is having the right to choose. And within that choice lies the possibility of choosing wrong. A truly free society is not one where no one makes mistakes, but one where people are allowed to make mistakes, learn from them, and grow without being destroyed. This teaching reminds us to be more forgiving, not only with others but also with ourselves. Don't be afraid of failure. Every mistake is a lesson, a stepping stone on the path to success and wisdom. Quote number 6. In a world that worships intellect and data, Gandhi's sixth quote is a gentle reminder. A drop of love is more precious than an ocean of knowledge. Knowledge is very important. It helps us create rockets and build skyscrapers. But without love, knowledge can become a weapon of destruction. A doctor, no matter how skilled, is just a machine without compassion for their patients. A leader, no matter how wise, can become a tyrant without love for their people. Love is the moral compass, the thing that nurtures the soul and connects human to human. Knowledge is only truly useful when it is guided by a kind heart. Quote number 7. Are you procrastinating on a plan because you fear failure? Then listen to the seventh quote. You may never know what results come of your actions. But if you do nothing, there will be no results. This is a powerful push for those who hesitate. We cannot control the outcome, but we can absolutely control whether or not we begin. When Gandhi started the Salt March, he couldn't be 100% certain it would succeed and shake the British Empire. But he knew one thing for sure: if he didn't take that first step, nothing would change at all. Daring to act, daring to try, that is the start of every great change. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Act, and the results will follow. Quote number 8. The eighth quote touches upon a very modern issue: consumerism. Live simply so that others may simply live. In a world where we are constantly encouraged to have more, better, newer, Gandhi's call to live simply becomes ever more profound. He realized that the Earth's resources are finite. The luxury of one person may be paid for by the deprivation of many others. Living simply does not mean living in austerity. It means living consciously, consuming only what we truly need, and appreciating what we have. When we lessen our material burden, we not only free our own minds but also leave opportunities and resources for others on this planet. Quote number 9. We return to the theme of hatred, but from a more personal angle with the ninth quote: the weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. Society often mistakes forgiveness as a sign of weakness, as surrendering to the one who hurt you. But Gandhi showed the opposite is true. Holding onto hatred is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It destroys you from the inside. To forgive, you need immense spiritual strength, the strength to overcome pain, to free yourself from the past, and to not allow another's actions to continue controlling your emotions. Forgiveness is not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. And finally, a lighthouse for the darkest of times. The 10th quote: when I despair, I remember that all through history the way of truth and love have always won. Gandhi's life was not short of desperate moments. He was imprisoned many times, witnessed the painful partition of his country, and was ultimately assassinated by one of his own countrymen. But through it all, he held an unshakable belief. He believed that even though tyranny and falsehood may seem to prevail for a short time, in the end, the light of truth and the power of love will always triumph. This is an eternal message of optimism, a reminder that we must never give up hope, no matter how difficult the circumstances. Those are the 10 quotes, the 10 timeless philosophies of Mahatma Gandhi, teachings whose value remains just as potent today. Gandhi shows us that violence may win a battle, But only love and compassion can win the heart of humanity. The greatest strength comes not from the outside, but from the truth and will within each of us. Among these 10 quotes, which one touched you the most? Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you found this video meaningful, don't forget to press like, subscribe to Still Mind channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss our next episodes. In our next installment, we will meet a great student of Gandhian thought, the man who turned 27 years in the darkness of a prison cell into the light of freedom for the entire nation of South Africa, Nelson Mandela. Thank you for listening, goodbye and see you again.